fire! Cease fire!
The first 2 days are a close quarters combat shooting course, live fire, and then the third day is a force-on-force training.
You'll draw out, you'll get it. And that's modified car.
My name's Todd Rasa. I'm an instructor here at the 6 Hour Academy, and in addition to that, I've been in law enforcement for close to 23 years. Ironically, most law enforcement officers that have training would say that if they went about amassing a fair amount of training, they send themselves more often than not. Most government agencies, because of budget cutbacks and financial issues, won't send you, don't have the money to send you. So if you're really inclined to get training, you got to pay for it yourself or send yourself, which is really no different than the non-sworn world.
I had shot a rifle once when I was about 11 with the Boy Scouts. You know, I had no actual real firearms experience. I turned 21 and became legally eligible to carry. I went through the process of getting my permit, and I'd like to think a lot of other people who carry aren't really carrying to be toting around a gun and feel cool, but for the self-defense applications of it. So you're looking to actually train in such a way as to benefit. You need some of the more specialty, both techniques and environments that you can get at locations like here. And you know, a lot of times people go to a range and pretty much what they do is they stand there and put a target down range and shoot at it, and that's fine, but it's not dynamic. It's not the way an actual confrontation would go.
I have had everybody from dentists to morticians to retired police officers, retired military, nurses to doctors, you name it, everybody.
My name is Anthony Posteraro. I'm a physician. I practiced down in the state of Connecticut for 35, 40 years, primarily oncology, cancer treatment. Retired very recently. There are three things that the state gives me that are very, very important to me. One is my driver's license, the other is my medical license, and the third is my concealed carry permit.
Thomas Clinton, just retired from the Air Force about 2 weeks ago, and now I'm working my way up to be a SIG Academy instructor, as well as I'm an EMT paramedic out in Manchester, and then I work for a contracting agency for the government as well.
My name is Sarah, and I manage a veterinary hospital. I've taken, I think, every course that Todd teaches.
My name is Mickey Allen. I'm a Connecticut resident, private tutor for standardized tests like the SAT and ACT.
Roll to your left.
I mean, are we counting things like knives? I mean, everything in my kitchen drawer, so I have no idea, as well as, you know, tools and everything else. A weapon, you know, you do enough training and weaponry starts to take on a different meaning from just things that are designed for it. But in terms of firearms, something like 9 or 10.
The weapons that I own are just one Glock.
120.
Up!
Got a knock on my door, my apartment door, to be clear, so it was the third floor of a building, and didn't look through the peephole, really should have.
I think that we underemphasize the chance that we could be involved in something.
There at the door, instead of a pizza delivery box, they got the Uzi.
Like, I got a delivery, and I didn't order anything or any food or anything like that. He's like, it says your apartment, and I just figured he was probably, you know, like on the wrong floor, or you know, looking for the one across the hall or whatever. I just opened my door and, you know, shotgun in the face. So I basically just I slammed the door on it because he very stupidly put it forward enough for me to do that. Slammed the door on it and pried it away, and just got really lucky that, you know, I don't know what he was thinking, why he didn't either shoot me or whatever. Point is, it was extremely alarming.
There is a fair amount of people who
who have encountered something or came close to encountering something, and either luck intervened or the good guys intervened. But either way, they had the smack across the face that made them realize the only reason they got out of this was because of some other, it wasn't because of them. They got out of it because somebody else intervened or luck.
I've been assaulted on a couple of other occasions. That was probably the most out of nowhere and startling. But it was certainly it didn't make me think I need to get a gun. I think a lot of people do have that reaction, but that was not mine. My reaction was I need to learn how to handle that situation or something akin to it.
If I'm not in the shower, I'm in possession of a firearm, either on my body or within arm's reach. And you know, there are a lot of reasons to carry a firearm. You know, I did executive protection work in my younger days, and I had the dubious experience of being in a gunfight and being the guy without a gun. And you only have to have that happen to you once before you never want it to happen again. I have a wife and I have beautiful children, and the most important thing I do every day is to get home to them and to protect them and care for their welfare.
The reason for carrying is personal protection, and I define personal protection as not just myself, but other innocent people. In practice, there were a physician whom I knew at one of the local hospitals, and his wife were murdered in a very, very lovely suburb of West Hartford for a 19-inch black and white television set. That and other circumstances made me decide that that just wasn't going to happen to me or my family.
Have you ever encountered any situation that might require deadly force?
I have in the past, and at the time I didn't have it. Many women and other women have also, you know, the typical assault kind of thing.
People that want to stick their head in the sand and believe that it's not going to happen around me are playing Russian roulette with the welfare of the people that they love, and I refuse to do that.
I've had to jump my car twice in my life, and again, I drive a ton. It's not going to happen a lot. Why would you bother to carry jumper cables? Nobody asks that question. But they do ask it about a firearm, or they do, like, why do you take martial arts, you know? Well, you know, because what happens if I ever need to defend myself physically? Well, yeah, but that's not very likely. I don't know, it's happened to me a few times.
So 81% of our officers that are killed in the line of duty are killed within 7 yards or 21 feet. Hell, for that matter, half, give or take, half, are killed in 5 feet. And we saw the previous slide that most of that occurs with a handgun. Yet, what do we do when we buy our new gun? We do all that kind of stuff. It's benched. We're probably in a booth, maybe inside, outside, doesn't matter. We take our target, we put it about 21 feet. Unless we're feeling really funky that day and really confident, we'll put it to 30, maybe 45 feet. Does this sound familiar? We pick up our gun, and our objective is, because what we put downrange in that target was a little bullseye, and our objective is to shoot the black out of that bullseye, shoot that X-ring out. You with me? And maybe we have a good day. Let's play that out. We have a really good day that day, and we shoot the X out. We go, oh yeah, I'm tuned up now. I am one with this gun. Oh, but Todd, I've had all that other stuff. I doubt it. I'm fairly confident that you probably haven't had some of the stuff that we're going to go over in this class. In order to take these classes, you have had to take introductory classes prior. You had to have demonstrated your ability to handle a firearm and handle it safely. Besides that, there's a background check. And most of the people who actually come here are in the process of purchasing a gun, and as you well know, you got to go through background checks for all that. Or they already purchased a gun and or have a concealed carry permit on top of that. And what makes this training so special is it's the closest thing possible. The best way to recreate real life, potentially deadly force situations is this style of training.
Since I spend enough of my time unarmed due to, work and travel requirements, I want to see what it's like to, have some of these things take place in a scenario situation where the assailant may be armed. There may be more than one of them, things like that, but I won't be. I'm approaching it intellectually as a kind of like a test case, and I imagine there's going to be times I'm going to take a few to the chest and find out that that was not the right way to try and handle that.
I can't count how many people I've trained in force on force, and this may be the first one who's ever gone through an entire day unarmed.
Oh. Strike! Good.
Again, is the closest possible thing from a psychological standpoint, as well as a physical standpoint, as well as a tactical standpoint. The key, though, is to make it realistic.
Yes, I've had force-on-force training before. I think force-on-force training is an extremely important aspect of firearms training or carrying a firearms training, because it puts you in a situation that is about as close as you could possibly come to a real-life situation.
It's funny how people react in force-on-force training, and the whole idea around force-on-force training is to introduce stress into the basic mechanical operations of the firearm or whatever it is folks are training.
Because in here, it's not going to look good. It's not going to look like in the dojo. Wow. It's not going to look that great. It's going to look like a mess in here, because we're in the fight now.
All we're doing is inoculating people to, worst case, realistic, stressful situations, so that when they do encounter it, God forbid, they have an answer. They have a neural pathway. They have a way, a fast way to get from point A to point B.
I'm familiar with the course. I'm looking forward to it, but I am nervous about it because that is going to be a true test of, even though I've taken all the other courses, and they run through scenarios in those that are, you've got to be kind of on point and quick and quick thinking and know what to do. This is definitely going to be different. This is going to probably kind of put me back into maybe some of those some scary situations that I've been in. And I'm not quite sure how I'm going to react. I don't know if I'm going to freeze.
As far as I know, he's the only guy, other than within the military. You will go to a lot of different courses that will have pieces, parts, just shooting, just knife, just hand-to-hand. This particular form of training, what I learned from it is the combination of all the aspects of CQB.
And what happens is we teach the firearms, and then we teach the hand-to-hand, and we tell them, okay, you student, you put it together. Go ahead, you put it together. You're smart enough to do that. No. You know, we talk about safety and the rules of firearm safety and not lasering people and not pointing a weapon at somebody, and that's drilled into our head, and we're very conscious of that, and that should be good, and now I'm asking you to violate that.
Your heart's beating. Like when I walk into that room, I feel like I just jogged, a quarter mile pretty fast. And your heart's going, and you're definitely even breathing a little bit heavy.
I've seen it all. Well, I shouldn't say that. No, I haven't seen it all. I've seen a lot, because seeing it all would be totally wrong to say. I've had people pee themselves. I've had people start to cry. I've had, in the middle, I've had people who have gone to the other extreme and have actually lost it.
One of my favorites was we set up a scenario where you were checking into a hotel. So you had a partner with you, there was another customer there, there was a hotel employee that was sort of off to the side, and then there was the person at the checkout desk, as well as a camera operator, because in the force-on-force scenarios we always film them so that we can debrief. And this guy the guy who went first in this particular scenario, had a fair bit of experience with firearms. He'd done formal training, but he was new to force-on-force training. He came in, and it was a terrorism scenario. So a guy came in and just started shooting and yelling, and so the student engaged the terrorist right away, shot the terrorist, but he was so amped up. The clerk behind the counter moved, he shot the clerk. The other customer moved, he shot the other customer. His partner moved behind him, he shot his partner, he shot the camera guy. The end of the scenario was when a police officer would run in. So Todd would come in and he's wearing a big orange vest that says police on it. Stop, police! He turns, he shoots the police officer. He was just so, just in the midst of that emotional rush and that adrenaline dump that he shot everybody. But there's no other way for you to get that practice under duress, and we've talked about how important that is, other than doing it in force-on-force training in scenarios like this.
That's not the stress of, oh, I got to take a test tomorrow. I mean, that's stressful, but life and death stress, the naked truth, you know, literally naked, exposed to the world kind of emotion. And I think that you don't really get that when you feel as if, wow, this is real. Here we're looking at a 360-degree environment. When you do training in firearms, you're usually facing downrange, right? You usually got some type of target you're shooting, and you got to keep the gun in that. Now we're saying, hey, your head better be on a swivel, because it might not only be in front of you, it could be coming from behind you or to the side of you as well.
The object of this drill is to turn this into real combat and see just what you got. The truth of the matter is, I want to know what's there. And there's only one way to find out, and that's to put it under stress.
It's hard to replicate the stress that you feel when you're involved in a potentially deadly situation. I mean, it is really scary. I mean, your hands are shaking, you know, you can't breathe. You're wondering why. You know, I remember there's times I've been thinking, why I have to sit down now. Why am I shivering? Because it's 70 degrees outside. Whenever you don't have control of your own faculties, control of your own mind, or control of your own body, that's really disturbing.
This is not an average day.
Not an average day, okay.
No, this is an above average day.
Okay.
The only way that you can condition your brain and your body for that life or death scenario is simulation training, like this force-on-force training that puts you in that scenario, gives you input for your brain to process as close to what will happen in a real-life scenario.
One is even actually kind of claustrophobic, a little bit hard to breathe.
I'm gonna walk you in, sit you down at a table in a restaurant. You're meeting someone that you don't know very well to discuss a potential business proposal. When the bag comes off your head, the scenario begins. The scenario continues until you hear the command, cease fire.
How you doing? Welcome to JV Steakhouse. Your waiter will be right over, and your business partners called and they said they'd arrive in a little bit. Perfect. Thank you very much. You want anything to drink or anything? Glass of water would be great. All right. We'll go grab you one. Thank you. Here you go, man. Thank you. Yeah. Absolutely. How you doing, man? Don't shoot, man.
Don't move! Stay on the ground! Get down on the ground, hands spread! Do not fucking move! If I see you move, I'm assuming that you are still armed.
Why you shoot me no more, man?
Spread your hands out very slowly.
Can't move my hands!
Get the other one out very slowly. I need to see that you are unarmed.
I can't move, man! You fucking shot me!
Yeah. Because you came in and shot another dude, you fuck.
Cease fire! Cease fire! You went into survival mindset, which is no limitations. None, zero, zip, nada. You don't have any rules up there. It's nothing but self-preservation. And you can do anything with any means to do that within the confines of a structure.
All right. Mickey has decided he wants to go through this by hands only. So he wants to test his reactions using his hands.
Because once I go there, I have to control it.
Cease fire! Cease fire!
Dude, what was that for? What was that one for?
Oh, yeah.
What was that one for?
You alright? Give me a minute.
That was weird.
Didn't mean to land on you that hard. Just trying to take your arm.
That's good.
That's not a good start.
Oh, no, it's not a good start.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm alright. Give me a minute. Ooh, that was a good one. I wasn't expecting that.
He did a fine job, and what he did over here was fine too. And I'm not upset at Mickey, because in reality, that's what he would normally do. Our job, Mike's job, whoever the the safety officer is just to make sure that that fine line, it's going to be a very fine line, is not crossed when it comes to hurting me.
Is that the vertebrae in your back, I heard?
Yep. Stuff like this happens. And that's why I said by the end of the day, I'm going to be a hurting cowboy. And that's what it is. So, you're the business partner. You've now arrived before the next person. Yell, scream when I come in and rob him and shoot him. Wave your arms, don't get in the way. When Mickey comes in, he's going to get the same scenario that Bob gets. He's going to get the same scenario that Dennis gets. The main objectives will be the same for everyone.
How you doing, sir? Good. Give me the fucking money. Shoot me.
Fucking money! Fucking money! Give me the money! Give me the fucking money!
You shot me. Somebody help.
Right there. Don't move.
Somebody help.
So I got all the butterflies and the whole thing going on in my belly before kind of being walked into it.
Yell, scream, wave, don't get in the way. You with me? All right. You with me? Okay. You can expect, in the first couple scenarios, you can expect to be sweating your butt off. You're gonna be breathing heavy.
I was probably holding my breath and my heart was beating out of my chest. But once I was told to, once it was ceasefire or I was on the ground, then I noticed I could barely breathe. I hadn't even hardly done anything and I'm incredibly winded. And, I can feel my heart just pounding.
There's a very real physiological and neurological event that takes place. And, that's when panic can happen. It's when the adrenaline dump happens. And there are a lot of things that happen to the body in terms of, when that adrenaline dump happens, the body is starting to prepare for trauma.
One of the last guys, when he came in, you could see he was really amped up. You could see, miter shaking in his hands.
Oh yeah, you could see, and I saw it on the orange tip.
Drop that fucking weapon. Clear. Kick away. Push it away. Go on.
It's like men and sex, right? You get ready, you amp up, you get to maximum, then you're down, and you stay down.
Right.
My name is Elizabeth Andrada, and I'm an emergency room physician. I know that I reacted too slow.
Well, why did I shoot you?
How are you doing, sir? I'm gonna help you.
Give me the fucking money! Give me the fucking money! Give me your money! Give me the fucking money!
Because I wasn't doing anything?
Okay.
Give me the fucking money! Give me the money! Give me your money!
And part of it is not understanding yet when it's okay for me to start shooting another person. So that's something I just have to learn and get comfortable with.
As we go through these, we're going to amp up each and every time. This was an easy one.
The scenario is, it's the weekend, you're working your way through your honey-do list, there's one more item, there's that thing that needs to be painted at the house and it's got to be done before Monday. You're in a store, you're in line waiting to buy that can of paint. When the bag comes off your head, the scenario begins. The scenario continues until you hear the command, cease fire.
It's 250, sir. Black spray paint's 250. I'll be with you in a minute. We must say you're having a run on black spray paint. It's 250.
Yeah, I want the paint.
Ma'am, I'll be with you. Are you with me?
No, I'm
Be quiet. Huh?
I need...
Shut the fuck up. Sir. Look, I want the paint.
Dude, relax.
I need the paint.
Okay.
Look, I want the paint. Give me the paint.
You okay? Call 911. Somebody.
can't.
You can't?
I can't. Oh, God.
Can you move over to me?
Bad, man. Oh, God.
Don't fucking move, dude.
How strong is the fear component in the middle of these scenarios?
It's up there, honestly. Even though you're in a situation where you're not going to get injured, you're still thinking about how you're going to deal with the situation. What if the situation was real?
Certainly I'm scared. Certainly I'm looking for a way out. And I guess, yeah, just fear is what I feel most.
So you'd say it's a realistic depiction of a scenario?
It does feel real, surprisingly. It does feel real.
Call 911!
And then they come in here and it's close to real life. You're using simunitions, which hurt when you get hit with them.
Don't move!
Those rounds are traveling at about 350 feet per second. If they go into your eye, they're going into your eye. That's bad.
Here, but you see a lot of damage here. This range was about less than 7 feet or so, and this can happen.
A shock knife puts out electrostatic shock, but you definitely feel as if...
Yeah. It's a shock knife, instant feedback, so it's a great tool.
Some of it's hands-on, things are moving, people are yelling. There's a lot of, there's a lot of sensory input.
We're good. Mickey?
All right, this is gonna hurt.
No! God! Damn! Ah! I need the pain from the...
And ceasefire! Ceasefire! Ceasefire!
So one of the fallacies in dealing with knife attacks is that you have to disarm the guy with the knife. And so you see a lot of martial arts guys that want to do some sort of fancy strip disarm, and in most cases that's a bad idea. He actually did the right thing. He didn't care about the knife, he cared about the arm that was holding the knife. So he didn't try and do a disarm. What he did do is take control of that arm, take me to the ground, and then even though I was still hanging on to the knife was no longer a threat. Then he needed to decapacitate me a little bit, and he took a couple of elbows to the head and made that transition.
Because the students have progressed through multiple scenarios, they're now more in control of their thought process.
I had 1 in the chest and 2 in the head.
Perfect. Perfect. Good job, dude. From 1 to 2? All right.
Yeah, good job.
Now this is what I need you to do. I need you to stand.
The scenario is you're seated in a car, in a city, at a stoplight. That's the scenario. When the bag comes off, the scenario begins. The scenario continues until you hear the command, cease fire.
Don't touch my car. Hey. No, I don't want. No, back away from the car, please.
Come on, man. $5. Fuck you, man. Come on, let's clean your car.
I don't care. Get away from my car, please. Get away from my car, please.
$5, man. Come on.
Get away from my car.
Come on, $5. Screw you, man.
And ceasefire. We put you in a no shoot. And the reason is, not everything's a shoot.
Why do I work in no shoot scenario?
Give me $5.
Get away from my car.
$5.
No, don't want
Fuck
it.
this, $5. Come on, give me $5.
Get away from my car.
I can't have you walking out of here now and have some guy look at you funky at the Wawa and you pull out and cap his ass. I can't have you doing that, right?
Well, not in real life, but you also can't make it in the training just basically into a video game where you just go blaze everybody and it's fine.
Right.
Truth be told, I can go from presentation to where you're really amping me up, to I pointed at you, to where you're really amping me up, and before I know it, I'm out of control. And I really didn't mean for it to go that way.
Car's filthy. Come on, let me clean your car. $5. $5. That's all I want. Come on, $5.
Go away.
Have we had people fire in this situation? Yes, it has happened. Okay, so just to let you know, it's one of the reasons why we do it. So we want to look at both sides.
Hey, back off my car, man. Back off my car, dude. Get the fuck away from my car. Get away from my car. Screw.
Fuck you, man. Just give me $5 fucking bucks,
you.
man.
Screw.
That's all I want.
Screw.
Fuck you. $5. Come on, man.
Have a good day, sir.
All right, screw you.
So again, remember the words self-control, self-control, self-control? It's a huge responsibility you're carrying around on your hip. If you are that itchy and that off the hook or on the edge, you probably ought to not be carrying if you cap a guy like this.
I don't use the word survive. You'll hear people say, I'm training to survive. Survival's not enough, right? Winning is the goal. There are all kinds of cases of this. There was a case in the Midwest a couple of years ago where a guy took his twin daughters who were going off to college out to a bar, and there was a skinhead there who started trouble. And the guy, the father, thought he had to sort of defend his daughter's honor. Well, a fight ensued, and this skinhead guy was just looking for trouble. And he knocked the guy down, stepped on the back of his neck. He survived, but he's a quadriplegic now. So I tell my students, don't think about surviving. Surviving means just like not getting killed. Think about winning. So the scenario is, you're in a convenience store picking up a couple of things you've been asked to bring home on your way home. The bag comes off, the scenario begins. You do what you have to do. The scenario continues until you hear the command cease fire.
Open the ring.
I'm going.
Get on the floor. Get down on the floor. You get on the floor too. Get on the floor. Get on, man. Get on the floor. Get down there.
Damn it,
Open the
money.
We got a robbery in progress. Gunshot hasn't been fired.
Please don't move. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Cease fire, cease fire, cease fire. Good job, Doc. Good job.
The fight that you win is the fight that you don't get into. There have been friends of mine who haven't been so fortunate. One of the big things that you have to be very careful about when you're carrying a firearm is that you very frequently may not know exactly what it is that's going on, and hence you just don't go jumping and interfering in situations that are not directly a threat to yourself or someone you love.
Get on the floor. I'll shoot him. I'll shoot him. Goddammit. Get down on the fucking floor.
Damn it,
Open the ring.
I'm opening it.
Get on the floor.
It's open.
Get down on the
It's
floor.
open. Get it.
Don't move. Don't you move.
Please freeze. Drop that gun. Get on the ground.
There's a man.
Get on the ground.
Okay,
Drop
on
the
the ground.
Drop the gun.
There's a man behind
I don't
the
give
register.
a shit. Do what I'm telling you.
Okay.
The immediate threat was present to other individuals there. Everybody's focus is usually on the cashier because the gun is to his head much of the time. But there were also other people in that convenience store, you know, perhaps more than they were portraying in the scenario, but definitely at least a couple that were there. I look at that as a situation where if I just bail, setting aside that he told me to get on the ground, and if I just turn and run, he might just gun me down from behind, and so that's not great. But even if I knew with absolute certainty that I could get out safely, I just can't see turning and running when the risk to other people who are probably, just statistically, are probably not as equipped to deal with the situation as even I might be. It just made more sense to me to actually go for it in that spot, especially because he told me to get to the ground, and it's not like I was hidden, he couldn't see me, and maybe I could get out a back door where at least it might cross your mind.
I knew the gun went on. I didn't know if you got
Once
shot
he
or
got
not.
control of the weapon, it was lights out.
Yeah, but he's dead.
True.
Honestly,
True.
I look at that situation like he's dead. You know, I mean, if I can keep you from being dead, great. But
I would disagree with that 100%.
And it's different skills, it's different competency, and it runs in different directions.
I am not suggesting in any stretch of the imagination that you must take that shot. I am not saying that. What most of us learned was what?
Get down the floor, don't you do it, I'll shoot him! I'll shoot you! Please, I'll shoot you! Get down on the floor! Get down on the floor!
That we would.
And that you
Can, yeah. Good.
All right. I'm not saying that you have to. That's your call to make. What a person learns about themselves in force-on-force training, you can't achieve that anywhere but in force-on-force training. When they get involved in a situation that is realistic, they'll do some things under stress that they never thought that they would do, good, bad, or indifferent. I call stress the great equalizer. It'll show you some things about yourself that you may not like.
Open the register! Get on the floor! Get down on the floor! Get on that fucking floor! Get down there! Open the goddamn register!
God damn it!
God damn it!
Try
Get
it,
down on
man.
the floor!
Get on the floor, ain't you listening? Shoot, man. I'll shoot him. Don't do it. Get on the floor. Shoot.
Please don't move, Johnny Guy! Grab that fucking gun now! Get on the fucking ground, police! Get on the fucking ground! Police, grab the gun! Throw that gun out! Get on the ground, everybody! You in a checkered shirt, get on the ground, get on the ground! Move that gun away from you now.
Turn your head away from me. Turn your head away from me. You move again, I'll shoot you again. You understand? Do you understand?
Yes.
Raise your left arm. Cease fire, cease fire, cease fire. Yeah, I was actually shocked at one, and I've done this so many times. I was actually shocked because you're trying to reload, and I'm like, this dude is going to sit here and duke it out with me. I was shocked.
One of the things you see really consistently is that folks are focused so much on engaging the bad guy in a scenario.
How many rounds you carry in real life?
Yeah, not that many.
Okay. That's 3 magazines worth right there, okay? We have to have some fire discipline in the way of round management.
That when the police officer shows up, first time I did it, I got shot by the police officer because I didn't disarm myself fast enough and comply. And you don't realize how your thought process, how your brain works, changes under that sort of pressure.
Please don't move, Johnny Guy! Get on the fucking ground now! Get on the fucking ground, police!
See, I never heard that.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear it very clearly now, but
Honestly, I would say it's 90% mental. So bottom line is you need this training if you're going to go ahead and carry.
All right, you're still alive, you're still breathing, you're still fighting. You just made a mistake, you'll never make that mistake again, right? If you're going to get involved in something, you need to know the popo is eventually going to show up. And when they do, you better be able to throw it in reverse and do exactly what they say. We've got to learn from this. It's a huge responsibility when we're carrying one of these around. We've got to know if we're going to take that action, we better be prepared for the consequences. But we can't make light of the fact that we accidentally or negligently, which is the way the courts will look at it, shot somebody who shouldn't have been shot. All right? This is dead serious stuff.
Give me your purse! Give me your purse! Give me your purse!
Ceasefire.
Ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. Sit up.
Sorry. It's just my bad knee. It's right in that spot.
You try to walk it off?
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
I'll be all right. I just can't move at the moment.
And of course, it was basically a mug type scenario where there was one perpetrator with a baton and the other with the knife. Well, the guy with the baton just, he kept, as I'm kicking, because, I'm trying to get my gun out, so I'm trying to kick him, keep him kicking. Well, he's wailing on my knee, which was my bad knee, in the same spot. So that, I was dealing with that pain was all I was kind of feeling radiating through my knee. And I'm still trying to unholster my gun, and the whole holster came off in my hand. So then I had to still try and deal with the guy coming at me, cutting me with the knife, and still getting whacked on the knee with the baton, and still trying to get my gun out of the holster. But I did manage to get some shots off and take them both down. But then I was in too much pain. I pretty much remembered most of it, except when my knee got hurt, because that kind of clouded, even though I was still doing apparently what I needed to do. I kind of couldn't remember if I had fired before I got hit in the knee, if I fired after I got hit in the knee, if I didn't even really remember. I remember shots going off, but there was a big gap in between.
We're also seeing fatigue. The example of Sarah from that last one, I think has a lot to do with fatigue. When you get through this many situations, your body starts to give out. I mean, no matter how mentally tough you are or physically tough you are, you're also starting to see quicker reactions. You're starting to see calmer reactions.
Back off! Give me your wallet! Fucking money! Give me your wallet! Give me this money! Give me this money! Get his money! Get his wallet! Get his wallet!
Ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. That's good, that's good, that's good. I don't know how far we were going with that.
Basically, once I realized that it wasn't feasible for me to get up into those oncoming attacks, I looked at it as better to drag one guy pretty much on top of me and in front of the other to at least use as a shield and, pin the knife and then go to work on getting the baton away. And once I had that, I had both of their heads. It was no problem just to start beating on them.
Good job, you got it from them. On 2 of them.
Yep.
2 of them, and you got it from them and started using it against them. They can't get much better than that.
Kept control of the knife, even though I got you a little bit. Kept control of the knife the whole time too.
That was pretty effective, Mickey. Unarmed.
Fantastic. Good job, man.
You know, you're training very, very hard to do this. You're investing time, money, effort in it, and you're doing this in the sincere hope that, my God, I hope I never have to use this.
All right, so you're coming home to your apartment, right? You've just worked a long day, you're tired, thinking about getting in that house, you're coming home to an empty house, you're thinking about just cracking that first cold beverage, sitting down in front of the television and vegging out for a little bit before hitting the sack. So here we are, you're gonna come up, your hand's on the doorknob to your front door, the bag comes off, the scenario begins.
Your apartment. What kind? Let me have the bag.
Oh shit, man!
Hey, what are you doing in here?
Get out of here, man!
What are you doing? Get out of my apartment, buddy. You both assassinated each other. Huh? Drop the gun. Push it away from you. You here alone?
Absolutely, because if I was doing this all over again, I'm pissed off at myself. I'm really angry at myself right now for what I did.
Why?
You know, because
What did you do?
Because I went in, I engaged in a gun battle with a guy who was shooting back at me. In retrospect, what I should have done is just retreat down the hall and call 911 and let the fucking police take care of it.
It depends on what if your family was there.
But that's not part of the scenario.
Drop the weapon! Drop the weapon!
Why'd you come back?
Mistake. That's why.
Is it?
I think so.
From a physical layout perspective, it looked like a pretty simple scenario. You got a hallway, a door at the end of the hallway. But if you think about the emotion that's involved in that scenario, so in their head, they're already in this place where I'm home. This is my safe place. I'm on my way to the refrigerator to start the relaxation reward for this long day. Now, each single person is going to be in a different emotional space.
Sometimes I think we're less apt to retreat in this scenario because it's our home. And it's almost a how dare you type moment.
Hey, I got a gun. Get out of my house. Get out of my house.
Hey, get the fuck out of my house!
If you've noticed, a lot of people are hovering right around this corner. And they're not taking the long hallway and using cover. They're almost staying right there and shooting it out with the intruder. So it's interesting to me that we have this ownership and we're not going to give it up.
Well, I went back in when I really think I shouldn't have. I think it was my desire to control the situation. I couldn't see him. I didn't know what he was doing in there. I wanted to have control over that. And I went back in and left good cover, or good concealment at least, when I had it.
Now, the setup is they're told you're going here, you're whatever the situation is, you're going to experience this, this is where you're going. And 99 times out of 100, the student's imagination takes them right there.
It depends on what if your family was there.
Okay.
But that's not part of the scenario.
Well, I don't know
That's
what the
not
scenario
part of
was.
the
I
scenario.
didn't know.
The scenario is whatever you make it.
Mick is a single guy, lives by himself, so in his head, as he's going down that hallway, he's free to flee the area if it's in his best interest because there's nobody in his house.
There's somebody in my apartment. I'm on 187 Long Hill Avenue in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I think he's got a gun.
Just let me go, man. Let me get the fuck out of here, man. I'll just leave, man.
He's coming this way. Please send somebody as soon as you
Man,
can.
let me just leave. I'll just leave, man.
All right, go ahead. Just go away.
Leave it, man. And ceasefire.
Mickey, instead of saying, no, no, not today, his choice was, I'm going to back off and I'm going to allow the professionals to handle this. I'm going to get cover. I'm going to call 911. Absolutely. The guy starts screaming, hey, let me go, let me go. All Mickey wants to do is get out of his house. Let him go. That worked out perfect. Perfect. There's absolutely nothing wrong with what Mickey did. Matter of fact, I would suggest it was probably the most safest thing to do. Why go hands-on with a knife or a gun if you don't have to?
Oh, shit, man. Get out of here.
Get out! Drop your gun! Get on the ground!
This is an exceptional example of no matter how well you craft one of these scenarios, no matter how well you have it designed, you can't predict everything. There's absolutely nothing wrong with what Tom did. Tom improvised, overcame, adapted, that whole saying. He made his own entrance into his house and he dealt with this situation the way he needed to deal with it. He made his own wall, he made his own rules, he made his own, we let it play out to see, what would happen, but you can't predict everything when you're setting up for these things. Sometimes just let people do what they need to do as long as it's safe.
That student who was amped up and shot everyone in the first scenario, how did he perform by the last scenario?
Oh, like night and day. So the first time, he didn't remember anything that happened. Second time, he remembered, you know what, I did this. I didn't want to do that. And by the fourth scenario, it was like a completely different guy.
There is not one that I have seen yet, and obviously myself included, that inherently has all of these different skills and skill sets. It just doesn't exist, I don't think.
I have not found anybody that is good at, no kidding, going to the extreme, which these courses are designed around. I mean, let's basically say what it is. It's eventually possibly taking a human life. I don't know anybody that's good at that. So you do have to train, in my opinion.
People who are unsafe with firearms do damage. What would I say to a person who doesn't have much training, who gets a gun, goes through the state-mandated watch the video or attend the concealed carry class to get their permit, and they think they're good and they can solve the world's ills? I would say that they're mistaken.
Honestly, I have seen people through some of the beginner level classes here who are not particularly competent with a firearm who do carry, and that's always an eye-opener.
Absolutely, without question. I think that the laws should be stricter in regard to, if you're going to own a weapon, you should know how to use it, and not just a basic 101 type course. I believe that if you are going to, be allowed to carry that weapon, like it says in the Constitution, that's fine, but I think training should accompany that. And not, like I said, not just basic training, but I know how to react in certain situations safely.
Smooth, not speed. Smooth. Up!
I mean, because you hear all the time about folks discharging weapons, and some of these are even trained professionals, DEA agents, etc., and things happen. So, I mean, imagine folks that don't have that training. So yes, I think it should definitely accompany.
It's not just carrying a gun. Carrying a gun isn't good enough. You have to practice. Right? I fire the gun that I carry for self-defense. I practice with it every week. Maybe not for 1,000 rounds, but I get practice in every week, because just carrying a gun, if you're not practiced, it's not gonna get you the outcome you want. You're not gonna protect yourself or other people, and you run the risk of, if you're incompetent, you pull it out and start shooting, you don't know what's gonna happen. Okay, the scenario is, you're in a car, at a red light, in a city. That's it. That's what you know.
Police! Drop the gun now! Do not move! The gun's in the passenger seat! Slowly get out of the car! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Don't move! And cease fire! Cease fire!
Now what you're going to see in this one is a reversal of the roles. After that first person goes through, they then become the cop. And they have to come around the corner, and they're given the instructions are, you're a cop, you come around that corner, all you know is some dude just shot another dude. That's all you know. You deal with it the way you need to deal with it.
Don't move! Police, drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! With your right hand, slowly get the handle, open the door, through the outside! Outside of the car! Stop. Slowly get on the ground! Face away from me! Face away from me! Put your right hand behind your back!
And cease fire. Cease fire. Holster.
So you had an officer who gives a guy instructions while he's panicked, while he's cranked up, while he's stressed, and the instructions perhaps weren't necessarily that clear.
He shot me. But I said outside the car, and you went inside.
I thought you said open the door.
I said open it up front. I said from the outside, and you went through the inside with your right hand.
He's not trained as an officer, but there's not that much difference, perhaps, from a regular officer who is stressed out and who has little to no training.
Drop the gun! With your right hand, slowly get the handle, open the door, through the outside of the car!
And the guy reaches on the inside to open the door with the handle. He maybe takes it as furtive movement and pop, pop, pop. Is that so unrealistic? No. From the officer's perspective, he doesn't know what's going on inside that car. We need to see hands at all times. And now they can see the perspective of that turn. We're in slow motion, and they can make the decision whether or not they're going to shoot the person or not shoot the person, as in the role of a police officer.
Yeah, the fucking truck. Give me
Please, drop your weapon. Step out of the vehicle. Drop your weapon. Get out of the vehicle now. On your knees. Down on the ground.
As far as when I had to deal with a police officer behind me immediately, in my opinion, I failed because I spun and had my weapon pointed in their direction. I didn't fire at them and I didn't present to them, but that doesn't matter. I think in that situation, they would probably have to take a shot.
Clear. Clear. Brother, just to let you know, I'd have shot you.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, why didn't you shoot? Why didn't you?
If I had been a cop, I probably would have, but because he was coming right out with the gun pointed forward, so.
Maybe because
I was giving him a second
you
chance.
just went through the scenario, you
in
know
case
he's the
you
good guy.
didn't hear me.
You're in a fucking truck! You're in a truck! You're in a truck! Get out of the truck! Get out! Get out of the fucking truck!
Police, freeze! Drop your gun. Hands in the air. All right. I want you to take 2 steps to your left, slowly. All right. Turn and face me.
You had a malfunction?
Yeah.
Hit it in your client's face.
That was
nice. And you were pissed at me. I cut you, you're like, hey!
I know you did.
What the hell would you do that
Some
for?
bitch.
And you went click instead of bang, and you worked it out. I like that. That was good. Good job. All right. Good job.
You are now the police.
And again, yes, and again, the real quick submission of being able to switch from one gear to the next. And it's gone. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that when it comes to switching gears like we need to do.
Okay, guys, as quick as we can. Let's get all these barricades off, all the sims off of the floor. Truck out and down, and then we'll jump as quick as we can.
So just like when we were kids, we broke all the toys out, we made a mess, we gotta clean the playroom out before it's time to go to bed.
I think that this is a typical force-on-force day. It went well. Everybody was safe. Everybody fought through what they had to fight through, whether it was physical pain, whether it was a bad habit that surfaced, whether it was a poor reaction to stress, and everybody was able to fight through it. So I'm very pleased with the way today went.
Can you give us an example or two of some of the adjustments people made in later scenarios that you were happiest to see?
Liz, I'm gonna single out Liz first. The speed in which she decided that she needed to do something was increased tenfold, because then she had an accuracy issue where she hadn't had that before, and she put a couple rounds in a direction in which she wished she hadn't. And we discussed that, and she said, she looked me right in the eye, and she said, I'm not happy with the way that ended. I need to run another one. I don't want it to end on that note. It gave me goosebumps, actually. I was so happy and so proud of the fact that she recognized that.
So after completing a day of force-on-force unarmed, how do you feel it went?
Overall, pretty well.
Mickey fighting unarmed. All right, let me, what's my assessment of Mickey fighting unarmed? Scary, if you want to be honest.
I need the paint! I need open, get it! Cease fires.
You say it's scarier to instruct him when he's unarmed than when he's armed?
Yes. It is scarier to instruct him when he's unarmed than when he's armed. And he decided to pistol whip me on the top of my head, and it was efficient, which is a good reason why you need to pad up when you're doing this kind of stuff, because I'm going to have a knot on my head before the end of today. But Mickey was very effective. Mike came in, called it so that he didn't continue to whoop my butt in the submission, which he was about to do, which is exactly what we want to see. If you mean to do it mean.
The risk for danger there with the likely attacks of kicking the car door at him, arm breaks against the door, knee attacks, things like that.
Give me the fucking truck, all right? Get out of the fucking truck. Give me the goddamn truck. Get out.
Thank you for not beating the shit out of me with the car door.
Yeah, I thought for sure the car door was coming.
I was waiting for the car door to come out.
The risk seemed too great, but I would love to do that one again in a few iterations.
It taught me that it could be done. It taught me that I may need extra bodies to make sure that's safe, and they have to be the right bodies to make that safe. And I don't know that I would let everybody do that. Not that Mickey's special, but he's different. He's special in some regards.
As far as the one individual, Mickey, that went through unarmed, that was amazing, in my opinion. I mean, I learned a lot from him thinking, okay, half the time most of us walk around unarmed. I mean, there are folks that do walk around, but not all the time. So what are you going to do in those situations? And you could very well end up in there, or in that situation. What are you going to do when you don't have any type of weapon whatsoever? He was phenomenal, in my opinion. He did really well.
Throughout the training, do you recall sustaining any rounds?
No, I didn't get shot. Not at all today.
Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, that was a gamble. It was. I mean, we saw what happened. The very first scenario, the very first thing. That was a gamble.
Cease fire!
And I trusted him, and it worked out. So, yeah, I'm happy with it.
In a way, I'd like to do all of them differently, try every possible way of handling every scenario that we did throughout the day and others, just because that's what this sort of training is really all about.
These days are draining, but there's a big payoff in terms of the value that you know that the students walk away having received a lot more value. It's really sort of changed their perspective on training. By and large, you feel like everybody goes home a little bit safer than they got here this morning. So there's a payoff for the extra, the extra physical price.
I would love to keep coming back and doing it.
As far as returning and training, absolutely. There's no question in my mind. I would actually take this course again and again.
Would I like to try? Would I like to repeat the scenarios again and the course again? Absolutely. Yeah, I really would, several times. You know, I think you can't get enough of this stuff, at least not me.
And so if I want to continue to carry a firearm in the future, I think it's important that I keep my training up.
Firearms usage and training are very perishable skills. I feel they need to be renewed on a regular basis. I try and get as much practice as I can.
Skill diminishment is almost immediate. I mean, just walking out the door and waking up tomorrow or even driving home, they start to deteriorate. So it is really absolutely imperative that you keep these up as far as mentally and physically, continuously.
Ceasefire! 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 Ceasefire!
And then come back to courses like this just to really sharpen them.
So will you ever stop training?
Never stop training, no.
Absolutely, I would say that the hundreds or thousands of hours that someone over the course of a decade or several decades worth of self-defense training, it is all preparing for whether it's 20 seconds or 2 minutes or 10 minutes of a situation.
All right, folks, West 57, stop.
Somebody call police. Ambulance. Is anybody hit?
No.
Okay. So we've got medical attention for you. Everybody stay seated. I don't want to see anybody move. I don't know who's armed and who's not.
They're all predicated on history. They're all predicated on actual events that took place in recent history.
Right, watch the news.
You think you're in your home and you're safe, and next thing you know, you got, someone just who doesn't give a darn and just wanting to chop you up into little pieces, and including the rest of your family, and for nothing, So it's just, and they're becoming more prevalent, and they're random. A lot of them are just random. So it's such a scary thing. I don't know what's going on with people in the world, but wow.
Someone came up to the car, got out of another car and came up to my car. And, I saw him coming and kind of rolled down my window just because I didn't know what he was clearly approaching my vehicle, and I wanted to know what he had to say. And also I didn't want him to get too close, so I just wanted to be able to talk to him from a stretch of feet away, and I called out, "Can I help you?" And he said, "Yeah, I really like your car." Which, I drive a stock black Honda Accord. It's a fine vehicle, but it's nothing anybody's going to come strolling across a parking lot to specifically admire. So I found that weird, and I said, "Thank you very much, have a good day." And he said, "I really like your car. I'd like to own one just like that." And I said, "I don't blame you. It's a great ride. Have a great day." Just kind of being as blunt about the idea of that's about as far as I want this conversation to go as I could, without escalating things. And he reached into his pocket. He was wearing a jacket. He reached into his pocket, and I don't know what he had in there. I have no way to know. But he wasn't walking away. He certainly wasn't getting his car keys out because he had just walked from a different car. There was someone else, was in that vehicle. He was in the passenger seat. This guy had been driving. I don't know. But I took it that he probably had a weapon. And I immediately drew and aimed just south of his feet, and basically said, "You need to leave right now. Get back in your car and leave right now," because he hadn't done anything quite threatening enough for me to be justifiably shooting him at that point, but he was definitely threatening enough for me to present I felt. And he took a step towards me. And I think given the circumstances and the things he'd said, the fact that I'd just drawn a gun and made it plain that although it was not actually aimed at his person, that it was going to be very soon if he didn't get going. I think he was very careful not to have said anything like totally across the line. But I knew what he had going on, and so did he. And he took a step towards me, and I just brought it right up to chest level and aimed center of mass, and I said, leave now. And just he did, you know. I mean, it was probably about a half a second away, because if he'd moved his hand, you know, in his pocket, if he'd done anything other than slowly turn and walk away, I probably would have dropped the hammer on him.
The world isn't getting calmer. It seems like the world is falling apart. And if we actually wrap our brain around that, we can accept that and prepare for it. And part of my issue here is this. I think we're victimizing, we're turning ourselves into victims into this country by saying, oh, just what you said, that's not likely to happen. Oh, that's not. And we're not preparing for. And the stick in the head in the sand mentality is the worst thing we can possibly do. What is the harm? I'll ask anybody that says that. What is the harm in being prepared mentally, physically, for that worst case scenario? I can't see any.
But yeah, I find that I go anywhere now. You know, in class they teach us paranoia is your friend, you know, and it definitely, I am paranoid, I watch everything. I probably look a little silly sometimes because I'm so hypersensitive, or I try to be as to what's going on around me. They're probably like, what is this girl looking at? Why is her head on a swivel?
Do you ever find that gets tiring?
It does.
Do you miss the blissful ignorance?
I do. Sometimes I really do.
My ultimate goal, and I do care about these people, otherwise I wouldn't be spending the time and I wouldn't be heat stroked out right now and I wouldn't be exhausted. I want them to be happy. I want them to be happy in their security. And their security comes from their efficiency levels and their confidence levels. So can it do harm? Yeah, I think it makes you exhausted after a while.
It's incredibly worth it. It's expensive, you know, it's not $5 here and there, but it's nowhere near the type of cost that should be prohibitive for most people. It's something that's worth budgeting for, if necessary, because buying a new laptop or saving up for a new car or even something as simple as, you know, choosing to go out for steak and lobster one night, those things are great. I mean, I'd like a new laptop and a new car and some steak and lobster, but the point is spending your money there to the detriment of your and your friends and family's possible well-being physically. It's not prioritizing in a way that I think makes the most sense. That laptop's not going to do you that much good if someone decides to break into your car to steal it, and as you're coming back to your car, they're there, and they turn around and they stab you to death to take it.
I have coworkers that I've talked to, and they don't want to know. They would rather put their head in the sand and not know. And at first, when I first started going through this, I thought, oh gosh, I'm really never going to do this, you know. But then it's like, well, no, actually, you know.
And if that seems overly paranoid, like why spend all of this time for something so short and so unlikely, it's because of the consequences. I'm not preparing for something that's not a big deal that could happen, you know, quick and dirty one day. I'm preparing for something that could mean the end of my life or the end of the lives of people that I care about.
What compromises your quality of life is to walk around with concern about being able to protect yourself or the people that you love, and knowing that you're not significantly prepared in order to do that. And I think that stress is a far greater burden than the effort that it takes to have a level of awareness of your surroundings.
Well, but that only applies to people who are aware that they're not prepared. And what concerns me and what I think is that most people don't realize that they're not. They may even think that they are, and they're not. All of that is aggressiveness. That's being predator. That's not being prey. That gets me sexually excited. I love every bit of it.
If not us, then who, right? I mean, you know, somebody has to do this.
All right, I'm not doing anything. Go down. Help. Please don't move, drop the gun. Get on the fucking ground. Please don't move, drop the gun.
The popo is eventually going to show up.
Please don't anybody move, drop the gun. Get that gun. Please get on the ground. I need the paint!
You just cannot possibly have enough training. The nicest people I have ever met are the people I have met at major shooting schools.
I would love to keep coming back and doing it.
That's ejected out of the gun.
I would say for anyone who wants to carry, the more training, the better.
I think you can't get enough of this stuff, at least not me.
Bottom line is you need this training if you're going to go ahead and carry.
A lot of it can be very fun, but the defense portion of things is worth it even if it was miserable every step of the way.
All of us have mentally prepared, I'm going to drive up, and when I get out of my car, I'm going to walk in and I'm going to interrupt an armed robbery. I'm going to walk in the door and I'm going to see the guy standing there holding the gun to the lady at the give me the money, and all that kind of stuff. And what am I going to do? What do we mentally prepare that? We're going to go one round right into his ear and the guy drops.